I'm Beverly Copeland. This is the Beverly Copeland Report. Today is Wednesday, March the 27th, 2013. This is part 2. I'm going to continue. As I said last time, I have been told my problems are political. From activists from left to right have consistently told me my problems are political. That my problems are rooted in the Democratic and Republican leadership. I would add the academic people, places like Columbia and NYU too. But one big problem with that, I am the captain of my ship. I am the master of my soul. Beyond that, I am an unaffiliated voter. I am neither a Democrat nor a Republican. I'm unaffiliated. I have no part. But even if I were a Democrat or Republican, I'm not a slave of the Clintons or the Bushes or Obama or Bloomberg or Schumer or anyone else. The only thing under the Constitution of the United States, the only thing that I am obligated to do, the only thing that you are obligated to do, is to obey the laws of the land. That's it. That's it. The idea that people feel they have the right to break law-abiding citizens is an egregious violation of our civil rights under the Constitution of these United States. Therefore, I am left with no option but to leave this country before I have a massive heart attack. No one says, for example, I'm going to break the Rockefeller family to make them give back all the money that people say John D. Rockefeller stole as an oil baron. No one says, for example, I'm going to break Michael Bloomberg and make him give back all the money people allege he stole. No one says that. You know, no one says, the politicians, we're not going to break the wealthy people in America so they give all their money to the United States government to pay off their federal debt. It's my intellectual property. It's my genius. I don't owe anyone shit. All I owe is to respect the laws of the land, which I do. But inasmuch as it has become impossible for me to live here, I'm leaving as soon as humanly possible. And that will be when my brother sells this house. Now, moving right along, I'm going to continue reading that. This is part 2, the email that I started the last time. As I informed the detectives who came last Thursday, this was written on March the 25th, I was clueless that little bags that are used for, I want you to see, am I the victim of a political hit or do I have bad luck? As I informed the detectives who came last Thursday, I was clueless that little bags that are used for jewelry or fasteners, like the little bags that came with my security cameras, with fasteners to secure the cameras on walls or ceilings, are also used for dope. I was clueless. I informed the detectives that I began to report to 311 to the Department of Sanitation specialists when I find such bags with brown substance in them in the front yard when I sweep up the trash, because I was told that those are dope bags. I was just sweeping them up until someone told me that. I said I have a series of such reports to the Department of Sanitation, and I encouraged the detectives to contact the Department of Sanitation to get the reports. If they need the service request numbers, I have them written down, the dates I called, etc. Detective Jones asked me if I keep the bags when I find them. I told her I had asked the 311 Department Sanitation Specialist, several times I've asked them, should I keep the bags for the police? However, the 311 Department of Sanitation Specialists have all told me not to keep the bags, but to put them in any other illicit or illegal trash in the garbage, which I do. Now, after the detective, they always are nice when they come to the police to detect, but they don't do anything. What's the sense of me staying in this country if law enforcement isn't going to prosecute criminals, including the criminals who sexually assaulted my 90-year-old woman, my own 90-year-old mother, a 90-year-old woman, my mother. To sexually assault a 90-year-old woman, you know they're sick. They're sick to sexually assault a 90-year-old woman. It's probably one of these neighbors. You know, in fact, when MC Home Improvement, the Manigault, the neighbors, they're like perverts. They're like freaks. People come to this house to do work or anything. They always come out their house, and they go and talk to the people. Who are they? What are they? What is none of their business? The dope is coming from their door. They probably got crackhead daughters. They have a lot on their plate. Yet someone comes to this house to do work. They got to open the door, come out, look at them, come and talk to them. So I have never said anything when that happens. But that happened this week, and I just went off. I said, you little freak, what are you doing talking to people that come to this house? I said, my mother did. She complained to her medical team at Lenox Hill Hospital, and she complained to the police about that little freak, Glenn Manigault, harassing her, bullying her, like telling her to fall on the steps. Or night she could have ended up in a nursing home. That little freak, pervert. And the cops do nothing. The DA does nothing. The DA tells me don't copy him on email. I have no choice but to get out of here. If you got freaks, perverts as neighbors, bullying a grown man, bullying a 90-year-old woman, what is that but a pervert, a freak, a freaking freak. So I generally don't say anything. But what is he coming out of his door? Let me put it in the context of his wife, Helena Manigault, worked at the same hospital in the same department, neurology, that a doctor, Kathy Chuang, had ordered my mom to have surgery on her brain that was totally unnecessary. Right? So if my mother had had that surgery to drain fluid off her brain, my mother could have died or been a basket case. So I think she might have wanted, because my mother has such a phenomenal brain, and the imaging, the MRIs, the CAT scans and MRI prove that, and I basically have the same brain that my mom had. So they probably, you know, this is why people have the attitude towards Jews that they have. Now the hospital, it's in the Bronx, we're in the boogie, it's known as a butcher shop. Anything interesting in there, they feel they have the right to cut you up and look and whatever. So, so she worked, the little witch next door works in the same, there was a little clerk or aide, I don't even know if she might have been a damn maid, I don't know, housekeeper, whatever, that Chuang neurology. So, so it's like I feel uncomfortable with that. She worked the same department that Chuang works, and whenever I'm going out anything, and my mother complained about it too, they're banging, knocking on the wall. The good thing I got these D-Link cameras, they stopped knocking on the wall so much. But they're making noise, and now it's this dope coming through. The cops do nothing. No one does anything. I don't know if it's a political hit or what is it? Did they want to study my mother's brain? Is that why they murdered her? Are they trying to induce a heart attack in me to study my brain? I wouldn't put it, given the reputation of the healthcare of Jacoby and Montefiore and these hospitals in the Bronx and my experiences and my mother, that's why my mother went to Lenox Hill. Unfortunately, her last hospitalization was at Montefiore. If she had gone to Lenox Hill, she'd probably be alive today. It's in Manhattan. But we are the product of, and the nerve of the filth, this garbage in the Bronx to expect me to get my health care in the Bronx. Now, you talk about nerve, given what they did to my great and honorable mother, for this Jew filth to expect me to use their services in the Bronx. It's worse than rubbing salt in a wound. It's like rubbing acid in a room. But that's how messed up they are. They have no guilt, guiltless, no guilt, no regret, no, we did that, that's right, that's right. We did it to your mother, now we're going to do it to you. That's the subtext of it. I am the captain of my ship. I am the master of my soul. I have health insurance, blue chip, like my mother had blue chip. We go where we want to go, not where this Jew filth wants us to go. We are the product of our psychosocial experiences and DNA. My venomous anti-Semitism is analogous to the Jews' hatred of Nazis. I, like the Jews, am not a Holocaust denier. I will never deny what this Jew filth did to my mother. I will never deny my mother's personal Holocaust. I will not. It is seared into my memory, into my consciousness, what this Jew filth did. I am not going to deny my great and honorable mother's personal Holocaust. The same way I am not a Holocaust denier, the same way the Jews say they will not deny the Holocaust that the Nazis put the Jews through. And it is sick for anyone to expect me not to hate Jews, all things considered. And at the same time, to expect Jews to hate Nazis. I am the equal of every Jew on this planet. It is their right to hate Nazis. It's my right to hate Jews with the same venom. I am not a Holocaust denier. And they don't like it, they can shove it. So they don't do anything. The cops don't do anything. The DA I'm sending, well, if I can't send the district attorney stuff, that who can I send it to? He says don't copy him on email. Don't copy the district. And guess what? We have an African-American district attorney in the Bronx, Robert Johnson. Like I said, I thank God I have at least one positive link to the black community, that being Angela Davis, because in New York, I have none. I have no positive black link in New York. Family, friend, of none. Zero, none. No positive link. I mean, it's like I have to get out of this country. So, I did find, after Detective Jones came, she asked, did I save the bags? I said no, because I called for, not all the time, but generally I call them. I found another one of those bags that I put in an envelope and sealed it, and I called her to get it. It didn't have the brown stuff, but it was one of those bags I found in the garage. I'm emptying out the garage because I plan to get out of here. I don't plan to stay in this house. I don't plan to stay in this country. I've already contacted a relocation firm. Once my brother sells this house, all I have to do is get my airline ticket and go to Europe, and everything will be set up for me. I've got a relocation firm that handles visas, everything. Packing your belongings, from packing, you're getting the clearance, you know, the customs clearance, everything. I've got it all worked out. Getting housing, healthcare, everything. So, that's true. So I found another bag. I called her. She hasn't called me back. It's just like the Internal Revenue Service told me, I didn't tell them, that someone last year had filed a tax return in my name. Now, I didn't tell the IRS that. And the IRS told me the information. They told me that they knew it wasn't mine. So the information they said had to be someone who had detailed information about my work history. Now, all that information is in a locked file cabinet in my bedroom. How did someone get that information? And I generally keep my bedroom door locked because I have information in that file cabinet. So how did someone get that information? They have a key and came in the house, or they popped a window or with the credit card and came in. And so I reported it to the cops like the IRS told me. This local precinct, that he has not given me a report on the status of his investigation. Who did it? He should know by now who did it, and he should have arrested them. No? But again, the cops aren't going to do anything, so it's open season on me like it was open season on my mother. So the thing for me, I'm not a masochist. The thing for me is to leave this country before I have a massive heart attack, which it's just a matter of time. I'm not going to crack up. A, I'm put together too well psychologically, and B, I wanted to be a psychiatrist. I know the importance of being in touch with your hate, and it should be appropriate to the violation. If someone just bumps you, that's not something to get so all worked up about. But if someone hits you on the head with a sledgehammer, that's something to really be mad about. I am in touch with my feelings appropriate to the violation of my and my great and honorable mother's basic civil and human rights. A, I'm put together very well, and B, I wanted to be a psychiatrist when at one time in my life. And this idea that the Jews, you can't hate Jews, it's almost like it's sacrilegious. Jews are not gods. They are not, and being in denial about being hated the way they are is not good for anyone. It's not healthy. I mentioned when Detective Jones and the other two detectives came that an anthropologist can tell a lot about a community from the trash. I said, although I was born in the Bronx, it has been sad for me to come back as I did in 2009 and to find out what the Bronx has become. I had lived in upscale, trendy Cobble Hill, Brooklyn for 30 years. And I came back in 2009 to help my mom. It was one of the greatest joys of my life, one of the best decisions I ever made. The great tragedy is I failed my mother because her medical team all said my mom should have lived to be over 100. She died at 90. So I could talk about her personal Holocaust. I have in emails, etc. But we are the product of our psychosocial experiences and genetic material. I am in touch with my feelings, and I wanted to be a psychiatrist. I'm not cracking up. Not me. I'm in touch with my feelings. I may have a massive heart attack from stress, but that's why I'm leaving this country. Okay. I told Detective Jones, I said, the trash that I find when, for example, I sweep up the front yard of this house is quite disturbing. It's quite disturbing. I mentioned that inasmuch as I have lived like a Franciscan monk for so long, a lot of the things that I find I am clueless as to what they are for. However, sometimes the packaging is a giveaway of what the trash is for. I gave the example of a product of a Chinese ant aphrodisiac, imagine that I have found in the bushes of this house. Sometimes I find artwork or other schoolwork of young children in front of the house, and the kids, some appear to be troubled from their artwork. Often that is true. Also, I sometimes find beer and alcohol bottles and cans and cups, etc., in the front of someone's house. It's sick. Generally, when I find illegal or illicit trash, I call the 311 Sanitation Department specialist to file a complaint. One problem is if someone dumps bags of garbage in the garbage cans or on the property and I call 311, they will not take a complaint. If someone put bags of garbage in they don't take a complaint because the city's guidelines for dumping complaints is a very large amount of garbage, not just someone tossing putting garbage bags in your garbage cans. However, when I complain about illegal or illicit garbage, Generally, not always, the 311 Department Sanitation Specialists do take complaints, and they give me service request numbers, which I keep and which I can share, which should be available through the Freedom of Information Act. I showed Detective Jones where the dope smell comes in this house. In fact, when we were upstairs, I wanted her to see the dropped video from the security cameras on my computer in my bedroom, but she didn't want to go in my bedroom to look at my computer to see how there are gaps in the recording of the security camera. So someone could be coming in this house and they're not being captured because they're dropping. And I use Ethernet cables, and I have great cameras. D-Link are state of the art. So this problem started when my brother came here. But let me finish. When I took her upstairs, I had 15 golf shirts hanging upstairs that I had recently purchased for $50. 15 for $50. 15 golf shirts for the price of one. $50 from Modell Sporting Goods store. 15 for $50. Now, isn't that, I'm a very astute bargain hunter. There is a mall, here, but Mo is very good when stuff like that. It was an unadvertised sale, obviously. I said I change my clothes, like my golf shirts, every season because I clean them with very hot water and they fade. And the reason I clean them with such hot water, because there is more than probable cause that the water and sewer lines for this house are being crossed with the neighbors. My mom and I have filed several complaints about dirty water with DEP as a matter of fact. I also gave the examples of the last water bill, which I paid ahead of schedule. Payment is due for this water bill by the end of this month, March. A clear sign that there is tampering with the water and sewer lines is the fact that the bill for this house was $351.20. $351.21 for this house, a one-family house, and I am the only person living in this house. I have consistently told the cops, now that my mom has died, if they find anyone else in this house, to arrest them. Unauthorized in this, to arrest them, because I am the only one who should be living in this house. How the hell could one person get a water and sewage bill of $351 unless some one of these freaks is pimping off my water and making me pay for their water bill? I live in the boogie down Bronx. It is a clear and unequivocal sign of some tampering with the water and sewer lines that the water bill for one person in a one-family house is $351.20, according to everyone I have talked to about this excessive water and sewage bill. Moreover, the problem has been going on for some time, well before Bronx Shepherd Sony Construction renovated the upstairs bathroom and a leak developed. Not to mention that leak was small, according to everyone who examined it, including the engineer inspector. The people who are buying this house had inspected this house. Also, given it only occurs when I use the shower, points to someone crossing the water and sewage lines to cause such high water and sewage bills. This suggests that our late mother and I am now probably paying all a part of a neighbor's water and sewer bills. We reported it to DEP and everything. They do nothing. That's why I have to get out of this country. This is something we complained about. As you know, I had paid, this is to my brother, the water and sewage bill due in January a few weeks ago, because your lawyer had indicated that it would be paid from the proceeds of the sale of this house, but you said I should pay it anyway, so I paid it. I also paid the real estate taxes for this house. I paid the real estate taxes and 2 water bills this month in March. I mentioned to Detective Jones that my security cameras went out when you, Oscar, were here with your electrician to make the necessary fixes to remove the Department of Buildings complaints against this house. You should know that Dell, the manufacturer of my computer, and D-Link, the manufacturer of my security cameras, said the problem was with my high-speed internet equipment, i.e., with the router that the cable TV company Optimum had given me with my high-speed internet modem. When I called the cable company, they ran diagnostics. They said the problem was the high-speed wires and connectors which were causing the problem of my security cameras dropping the recording of video, sometimes for long periods of time, sometimes for hours. The morning the tech was to come to replace the router and check the wires and fasteners, the splitter, I had a problem connecting to the internet, and I was told they were doing an upgrade and I would have internet service again before 10 a.m. that day. When the tech came, he changed the splitter because apparently it was not a standard splitter, and he changed the connectors and fasteners for the ends of the cable wires. Then there was a cable blackout in this area, and he said he could not change the router because he had to download or program the router, and he could not do that because the cable system had gone down in this area. He said he would have to leave and come back. Now when he leaves, the next door neighbor pops her head out the window, out the door. I don't get it. They're like freaks, these people around here. He said and tries to talk to him. He asked if I would come later in the day. I said yes, I would be home later in the day. When the system came back up again and he had not returned, I called the cable company, who informed me he would come back shortly. He did, and he changed the router. The changes the tech made that day on both of his trips, the change in the router and the splitter and the fasteners, have meant that my security cameras system is working better, i.e. the dropping of the recording of my camera is not for hours, but it's still a problem for a few seconds or minutes. Even though I don't have wireless, I have an Ethernet connection, and that's not supposed to happen. I have top shelf cameras and Ethernet and D-Link, and Dell told me there's nothing wrong with my D-Link or Dell equipment, my D-Link equipment or my Ethernet cables. Nevertheless, or my switch. Nevertheless, I have been inundated with other problems like the leak in the kitchen, so I have not had time to follow up with. However, the supervisor for the tech who came did leave a voicemail message asking if the problem had been resolved. I want to talk to Dell and D-Link to find out what can be done before I return his call. But I may have to call the supervisor from Optimum before. What did your electrician, Wayne Thompson, do to my security cameras that my security cameras have not been recording properly since he worked on the electrical system for this house? Now, he's not supposed to deal with the cables, this guy. He was not supposed to deal with the cable wires. He was only, I'm going to have to continue next time. Wait till you hear the fiasco when my brother brought this electrician, Wayne Thompson, to this house. I'm Beverly Copeland. This